Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how to apply foundation without it separating on you, because it is a little bit hard at first, especially when you're a beginner, how to maneuver ways. And I feel like when I was younger I used to just like cake more concealer on to fix the situation, which is like a temporary fix, so it doesn't really work that well, but it works for the time being. So I'm going to show you guys how to have like a flawless finished face that looks good in pictures, in person, the whole shebang, without it looking too cakey and all of that stuff. So we're gonna start with wetting our beauty blender, because I feel like when I was growing up this was the hardest thing for me to learn. I was like, okay, you shouldn't use a dry beauty blender, but it needs to be wet, but how wet does it need to be? And I feel like that was a very hard concept. So I'm going to show you guys right now. I'm going to take you to my bathroom and show you guys how I wet my beauty blender and like how wet and everything it needs to be. So give me 1 second. I have two different sponges here, a Juno & Co sponge, which is a little bit different because it has that fuzzy texture, so this will dry quicker than this will. This is just a Morphe sponge, which is just like any other regular beauty blender. So I'm going to show you guys how I wet them. So now I just got them fully saturated and I'm really just squeezing them out pretty well. So you don't want them to be dripping wet, like they're not dripping. Do you see? No drips in sight. I will take a clean like little towel for my face and I will wrap the sponge in it and just kind of like press it a little bit, not too hard, and that should be about good. And I'm not going to do the same with this one just because this one dries pretty fast. So a very important part of this whole step of your foundation not separating is finding a good primer that goes together with your skin. This was pretty hard for me, and I think the first primer I ever used was like the Professional primer, and it literally made my nose like a slippery slope. It was terrible. So sometimes not every things that work for everybody will work for you. I really had to figure out what my skin was, combination oily, normal, or dry. So I do have combination skin. So I have oily and dry skin. And I will literally get dry right around my nose or around my mouth right here. So it's not like over here, it's my whole face. So what I used to use was the Smashbox Photo Primerizer with the Tatcha Silk Canvas, because I still do have big pores and just didn't want to have that. Both of these are very, very good primers to have. It really depends on what you are doing. If you're using a matte foundation, you should probably go with a more hydrating primer or moisturizer, whatever you use to prime your skin. Today I'm gonna go in with the Juno & Co Moonshine Miracle Cream, because this is kind of a combination of those two, and I really, really like it. I thought it was really only for like dry skin people, but it's not, because it doesn't make my skin like oily. It moisturizes basically, and just like sets a really nice canvas. I need to pin back my hair. A really nice canvas to work on, and I really, really like it. And it's not super thick like the Tatcha Silk Canvases, where you feel when you put it under your eyes that it's like gonna build up. So I do like that. And I do put this everywhere, as I would just like a moisturizer, just all over your face, and just blending it out until like you feel it in your skin, if that makes sense. So I usually do this before I do my eyebrows, because then it will have time to sit in and everything, and the concealer for my eyebrows will be blended better. However, I know how to deal with that, so it's okay. But just a tip, I didn't want to do my eyebrows on camera for this video. Put the primer on before anything to let it sit in and let it get used to your skin and seep into your pores and all of that extra stuff. So for your foundation really staying together and not separating, it is deciding whether you want to use a sponge or a brush. I don't really like brushes. I haven't used a brush in years just because I really don't like how it is. I use brushes to blend out my cream contour, but that's really it. And my foundation still doesn't move then. I just wouldn't recommend blending out your foundation with a brush, because I feel like it doesn't blend in with your skin as well. I feel like it's just gliding it all over and you have to go in with a brush anyway. So for my application is a foundation stick, because I do have these acne scars and such from like the maskne and stuff like that. So this is just the HD. It doesn't say what kind of finish it is, but I do believe it's like a satiny matte finish. And I literally just put that like over the spots of where the acne, or like the acne scars are. And I'll put it on my nose just because my nose is my nose, and I'll put it on my forehead just to evenly distribute the product. So I will not blend this out because I'm going to go in with my natural Radiant Longwear foundation. This is a dewy foundation, and I feel like this is just so much easier to work with cream products on top of it. So cream contour, cream blush, concealer, it's just easier to have a dewy foundation, and then you can set it and it's not even dewy anymore. So it is completely up to you how you do that and how you handle that, but this is just what I like to use. This is in the shade Mont Blanc, which is more of my summer shade, so it is going to be a little bit darker. I'm going to do 2 pumps, and I'm going to take my Juno & Co sponge, and I'm just going to tap it on the back of my hand. This is another important part because I feel like if you put it straight to the sponge, it does get cakey and just it looks too much. So I just take that and I'm just going to push it into the skin and blend it around. Another important part of application, if you are using a sponge, do not drag but dab. So that is a really important step, because if you drag it, you're going to be pulling the foundation or the product of whatever it is that you're using, and it is not going to be a good process of application. It's not going to end up looking good. I know this is really not my shade. I know, it's okay. We will all live through this. Especially around your nose, you just want to dab it and move on. You don't want to pull, you don't want to push. And places that you're going to put product, such as under your eyes, you do not want to cake product up there. Oh my god. And put like foundation, then concealer, then this, then that into it. Just leave it alone. I don't know if I should get like a new shade of this or a different shade. This is like their second lightest shade, which is annoying. I don't know why companies do this. It's literally light 2, like girlfriend. So yeah, don't come to me with matching your shade, because I don't know. I also used to self tan a lot more than I do now when I bought this, so it made sense then, but I don't remember it just ever being this dark ever. The eyes, I always go in with a color corrector right under my eyes, just a little bit. Places that you don't want caked up, you really just don't want to use a lot of product. That's really what it is. Also with blending, another tip is using the same sponge for basically everything. So, you know, blend out your concealer, your foundation, and then do contour last and blend it out with the same sponge, because it will still have product on it and just blend out a lot easier. Now taking the opposite sponge to set it with translucent powder. This sponge is wet, however it's not drenched, and that's why I showed you guys how to wet your sponge, because this is very important. Since this sponge is wet, it's very important using powder to be super careful. So I'm picking up my powder, and even if you're going to bake, pack it in. Do not slide it, do not rub it, and make sure the wet part of the sponge does not touch the rest of your skin. So this is how I'm going to do it, and I hope you guys can see. And I'm just going to pat it in just like I was just blending out that concealer. Literally just going to set it in to my skin. So I'd set my under eyes, and I'm going to take my cream contour. And one tip is to always do the creams together and then the powders. Don't ever mix creams and powders. It's just not good flex, really. And I'm going to go back with the sponge for the foundation and blend this out. Now I do use a brush to blend out my nose contour, so I will show you guys. And I mean, it just really doesn't separate, but it will if you don't have the right primer or foundation for your skin. Take the rest of my translucent powder and set the rest of my face using the sponge. So there's multiple different ways to set your face, but I like using the sponge and packing in the powder just like I did with my under eyes. And I like doing this just because it keeps everything in place a lot better. I feel like baking looks cakey on my skin almost, and I think because I have combination skin, it's just not the best combination. Get it? See what I did there? My worst problem is my nose and my chin, and another tip I would say is really shaving your face helps a lot, and exfoliating and facials and everything if your makeup is not looking how you want it to be. It is probably one of those things when you have to have good skin, and not even have good skin, but you have to take care of your skin first, and then your makeup should apply exactly how you want. And then for my nose, I set the whole thing because, like I said, I have combination skin, so I'll get oily around it. I'm just gonna take this big brush and get some more powder just to get like my jawline and like my neck and everything, and then a little bit just to set the rest of my face, just to make sure everything's set. So I'm going to try the Super Stay full coverage powder foundation for under my eyes, so I always use like an extra coverage under eye powder. That came out really quickly, so I'm just gonna, oh my goodness, okay, so I'm just gonna like drag it down, and then like, wow, I thought it was gonna be really yellow, so I was nervous because look at it in the pan, guys, it's so crazy, but it's like super brightening. Wow. A very important step is setting spray. This is one of my favorite setting sprays right now. It's a Milani Fruit Fetish Make It Last setting spray in mango and coconut. It smells really good, but it also saturates your face and just makes it very dewy, and then like sets it. So especially the amount that you spray is very important. I like to saturate my face. As long as you see that it's like wet, that is what I like. So do you see like my face is like my eyelid, I think you can see the most, is wet. That's what I like, because that is like enough to saturate your whole face. And I'll wait for this to dry, and then I'm gonna highlight, and I'll be right back. So if you were to highlight with like a cream highlighter, you should do that before you add powder on, and then you can like set the cream with a powder highlight. You're gonna want to set with powder, or at least set with like illuminizing powder. Like I know Jaclyn Hill has one, I know Hourglass has one. So this is the finished product. I'm gonna zoom you guys in. So this is how the skin looks. So yeah, I hope this helped you guys out a little bit more, and like you were able to skip a lot of trial and error. When I was younger, I remember, I think freshman year or sophomore year, I bought like 8 foundations from Sephora to just try, and I literally didn't like any of them. So definitely get your skin routine down. Just like weird, like I know there's a Urban Decay primer that has like weird white spots in it, so definitely like do your research and like see what other people think of them as well, but take it with a grain of salt as well. That's why I didn't really recommend any products here. I just told you guys what I used and what kind of cream, liquid, powder products I used, but I didn't like, I don't want to force anything on you guys because it might be completely different. So I hope you guys understand that, and I hope you guys don't have to spend a whole lot of money to figure out why your skin isn't working with foundation. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys have any recommendations on videos I should do, you can leave them down below and I will definitely consider them. Love you guys very much. And thank you for watching. Bye guys.